Traditional art has existed for as long as art was, well, a thing. No matter where you go, what museum you attend, or what city you live in, art has become a staple in our society for expressing yourself. From the graffiti art on those dirty walls to the amazing architecture on fresco. Excuse me, I think I choked on something. To the unrecognizable painting of your grandmother at her prime on the wall of her house, you can't deny that art has many variations in mediums, all at a very reasonable price tag, by the way, maybe even more. And digital art has been something that has existed since... for how long exactly? Let me check. Since the mid-late 1900s. Okay, digital art has been something that has existed since the mid to late 1900s. And me being me, clearly an intelligent zoomer, with 10,000 hours of experience in peak unemployment, as well as a guy who has experienced both traditional art and digital art, I present you a $1 million question. Which medium is better than the other? Whoever gets the right answer is wrong, and whoever gets the wrong answer is also wrong. Because I am here to do a comparison where each medium gets 1 point in a category they have an advantage over. Now before that, I have a disclaimer, this is just based off of my experience with both mediums. By no means this comparison is objective. And definitely, you should not take this video educational. I mean, I have an unapologetic approach to my editing style. Can you really see this, bro? So yeah, get your headphones, keep the lights on in your room, and sit next to the boogeyman living under your bed, and let's get rolling. We love a good creation process. We get to put our experimentations and practice to see how they look in our artwork. In traditional art, there are so many mediums like paint, clay, pencil, etc. And digital art has a variety of digital tools available in your software of choice, with coding that makes brushes mimic actual mediums. But between the two, which one has the easiest form of manipulation? While there are tutorials for both on how to manipulate mediums, like the layering technique for pencil and the rubbing of the tissue on oil pastels, digital art having blending options like addition to achieve highlights and multiply for shadows, one thing is clear: both are tedious. But digital art has layers so you don't have to ruin your process, and I'm not gonna lie bro, the blending options are a time saver, so for that, digital art gets 1 point. This one is a question that a lot of people have in their mind. How much money does it cost to get started? And you might think that digital art is obviously the more expensive option, and you will be right, but you also would be wrong. While traditional art at first doesn't seem like it's expensive, soon enough you'll realize that you have to buy more art supplies just to replace the ones that just finished. And once those ones finish, you have to buy more again and again and again and again and again and again. Basically, if you're doing traditional art, expect that you're gonna treat your art supplies like a Netflix subscription. On the other hand, digital art only requires you to get like a solid computer that can cost around like $200 to $300 if it's 4 gig laptop, and a $50 graphic tablet. I got mine at $50 back at Matric, and I got a pretty dang good secondhand laptop that I still use today that costed around 6,500 Rand, which is equivalent to $325. I also use Krita to add on to the broke boy setup that I have today, which is free and is a great software to draw, and it has animations in it, so it's pretty dang good. And while you can get a license for Clip Studio Paint, which is around $60 for the Pro version and $260 for the EX version. The price may be different depending on what country you're living in, but it's worth it because you can animate and create manga in that software. This software is literally what most Japanese animation studios use in their workflow, and it's what a lot of mangakas use to create their manga as well. And unless you can cough up enough money to pay for the Adobe subscription service so that you can use Photoshop, then you might as well go for Clip Studio Paint or just go for the free alternatives like Krita. You can still get great results either way. So which is it, traditional art or digital art? I mean, digital art gets another point, bro. The price may be high at first, but it's worth it for the long run. When we're talking about convenience, we're talking about space consumption and storage. This is a bit complicated because it depends on your needs. On one hand, you can have a sketchbook with an eraser, pencil, and your phone just to load up Pinterest. But on the other hand, all you can have is just an iPad with an Apple Pencil loaded with your drawing app of choice. Now, typically, this kind of scenario would be on the go. And if you ask me, I personally like the feeling of drawing on paper rather than drawing on screen. But back at the comfort of your crusty desk, you have your computer/laptop set up with your graphic tablet versus a desk with sketchbook, pencil, and a eraser with a phone loaded with Pinterest. I mean, you get the point. It's a bit complicated because this depends on your needs and how much stuff you really work with. So for that, it's a tie for this one. Traditional art has a lot of mediums, offering a variety of options for you to choose from. Watercolor, oil pastels, paint, ink, pencil, pen, and even fire. Well, now I know why Natsu likes to burn everything to the ground. And digital art has... digital art. Yeah, I don't know what I was trying to add there, buddy. Now, in digital art, you can choose specific colors that you want. And if you don't like the appearance of your work, you can edit it. If you made a mistake, you can undo and redo. If you want to move something in your canvas, guess what? You can do that too. As for digital art, one ink splatter in the wrong spot can immediately turn you into a massive crash out. Because you can't undo and redo like digital, and your only option to take away the ink splatter is the trusty white paints right next to you. And for digital, you can experiment as freely as you want, so digital takes 1 point, buddy. I'ma make this one short and simple. Traditional art can't be replicated 100%, because in traditional art, there's a great level of originality in the brushstrokes, and you can see the experimentations that the artist had to go through. And most importantly, they're hella valuable. But with digital art can be replicated very easily. Your drawing can be hijacked by some random weirdo, and they will draw your characters pregnant, or even worse. Oh no. And worst of all, if you don't have your work copyright protected, or even have any protection in general, it can be stolen by AI or any other digital art thief out there and claim their work as their own. So yeah, with that, it's pretty clear that traditional art gets 1 point. I'm sorry for all of you digital artists. Okay, this one is a no-brainer. Traditional art gets 1 point, okay? I'm just gonna say it right there. It's between getting a sore back versus getting blinded by the blue light being produced by your devices. Blue light, especially the bright kind, can strain your eyes. And guess what? You need your eyes to draw. So yeah, traditional art gets 1 point for that one. Now, as some of you may or may not know, I live in the lovely country of South Africa. And unless you have a laptop with 20 hours worth of battery life, traditional art takes 1 point either way. Load shedding will slap you in the face for how frequent it used to occur last year. So for all you Americans and Europeans out there laughing at us for not having electricity, we South Africans are chill and we are prepared with solar panels and generators in case load shedding happens. Meanwhile, it takes like 1 hour for y'all to go on a riot because of no electricity. Now sure, there are devices out there that have pretty dang good battery, and there are generators that exist in solar panels in case power goes out. But at the same time, traditional art takes the cake here because even without power, you don't really have to rely on that autosave feature to hopefully have your art saved up at the right moment that you really need it to be saved. No ifs, ands, or buts, traditional art gets 1 point here. Now the learning curve here is pretty obvious. For traditional art, you'll be learning the basics like art, shapes, line, color, all the things you need to know to embark on your art journey, versus digital art where not only you have to learn about the basics, but you also have to learn about the software you are using and adjusting the settings to your liking, as well as learning keyboard shortcuts like the classic Ctrl+Z. But in my opinion, you are better off starting at traditional art to get the basics and the fundamentals out of the way. Then when you transfer to digital, you can learn about the software as you draw and learn the keyboard shortcuts while you're drawing. That way, your skills can be transferred to digital, and by that time, it will make learning the software much easier than learning two things at once. So yeah, traditional art gets 1 point for the learning curve. Now the last one we got is damage. Traditional art can be easily damaged. And when I mean easy, I mean very easy. One lighter can burn 10 years worth of artwork. Now that's assuming that all of your art is done on paper, okay? Now as for digital art, it cannot be burned, but the files can definitely get corrupted, leading to them being lost or destroyed completely. But thanks to the autosave feature, some programs allow you to recover them if they ever get corrupted or lost. Now as for water, yeah, both of them are easily vulnerable, I'm not gonna lie. And both of them are very expensive to replace, because a spill of juice on your computer laptop means that you have to spend another $500 just to repair your entire setup. But you do have cloud storage to put your work in there, so yeah, digital takes 1.4 damage, I guess. And with that, that leads us to a tie between the two. Why? Because in reality, the choice is yours. Whether you draw traditional or digital art, one thing is clear, all of us came from traditional art at the end of the day and moved on to digital art because of the wide range of tools that it offers and the less physical storage it takes, and also the flexibility. And on the other hand, traditional art, we love the feeling of drawing on paper, being comfortable and not straining our eyes, and most importantly, it's immune to load shedding. Okay, but most importantly, traditional art is where we all started our art journeys. Okay, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. And whether you hate it or not, it's been a staple since art was a thing. So yeah, it's really up to you which form of art you really do prefer and what your needs are. And it depends on what you are. Because in reality, I know what you are.
Is a spy ever?
I know what you are!
So yeah, that wraps up the video. If you guys enjoyed this video as much as I had fun making it for you, then feel free to comment down below on which comparisons you want me to do next. And most importantly, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I deeply appreciate it. Feel free to check out the video on screen. I promise you'll love it. And with that being said, I like my cheese droopy, dog. Also, I'm in the thick of it. Adios.